So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. To formally inaugurate day one of Bharat Fintech Summit 2026, we begin with the traditional lamp lighting ceremony. The lighting of lamp is a symbol of knowledge, clarity, and progress, values that resonate deeply to kick off this special session. We are delighted to welcome Shri Neelkanth Mishra, Chairman of the Unique Identification Authority of India, UIDAI, as our esteemed chief guest. Can we have a huge round of applause? Joining him for this inauguration, we also have Shri Vivek Chandra Verma, Deputy Director General, UIDAI, and Srimati Tanushri Deb Burma, IAS, Deputy Director General, UIDAI. Can we have a huge round of applause? We are also pleased to have with us Ms. Sohini Rajola, Executive Director, Growth, NPCI, along with Mr. Samir Singh Jaini, Founder and CEO, The Digital Fifth, Mr. Shashank Shekhar, Co-Founder and Head of Consulting, The Digital Fifth. Can we all have a huge round of applause for him once again, everybody? Mr. Srikanth Rudra Bhatla, Head of Sales and Partnerships, The Digital Fifth, and Mr. Vikrant Kulkarni, Director, The Digital Fifth.
सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा ॐ गणपतये नमो नमः श्री सिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः गणपति बाप्पा मोरया ॐ गणपतये नमो नमः श्री सिद्धिविनायक नमो नमः अष्टविनायक नमो नमः
I'd request you to please stay back. Okay, now may I request Samir Singh Jaini, the founder and CEO of Digital Fifth, to please felicitate Shri Neelkanth Mishra. That's also, I'd request Samir Singh to please felicitate Shri Vivek Chandra Verma, Deputy Director General, UIDAI. I request now Mr. Singh Jaini to please felicitate Srimati Tanushri Deb Burma, IAS, Deputy Director General, UIDAI. Welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you and welcome to the Bharat Fintech Summit. I am grateful to the organizers for allowing Aadhaar to sort of display. We have a nice display outside, and also to invite me for the keynote. Fintech inclusion, financial inclusion is not just a buzzword. It's not something that we have inherited or we need to listen to someone just because it sounds good. It is absolutely essential for us to have deeper financial inclusion, for us to sustain our economic growth, for us to maintain the political conviction at an economic level, at a societal level, for us to sustain the growth. So, look, we have about 25 to 30 years. This is something I've been saying for the last 5-6 years. We have 25 to 30 years to grow rich before we grow old as a country, which means that we have to maintain a scorching pace of growth as long as we can. There are two challenges with that. The first is that we need to keep improving productivity. So the fact that Aadhaar now does 9 crore authentications a day on average, we've had a peak day of 13 crore authentications. The fact that we have 1 million updates coming in every day, This is all happening in the background. It's all seamless, like good infrastructure. You're not supposed to notice it. I hate it when people say, Aadhaar is not working. So it should work, just like, you only notice trains when they don't work. But we want to take it to 30 crores. How can we improve and increase the frequency of Aadhaar usage? So instead of just authenticating once for KYC, what if there is a gig worker who needs to be authenticated every time he makes a delivery? How can I make it cheap enough, fast enough, reliable enough? And if you're checking into a hotel, if you're going into a concert, if you're registering for this conference, I mean, how do the organizers know that you are the person that you say you are? And I think the use and the value of trust, the quality of data that we provide becomes absolutely essential. The second aspect of that is, so the improvement of productivity, that we bring in like cheaper forms of capital. So for example, and this is a link that you may not have heard before, but it's an extremely important one. Think about SIPs, the systematic investment plans. This looks like something that is just boosting the stock markets. Think about it as a pooling together of risk capital of about $30 a month, 2,500, 2,600 rupees a month, coming in from 11 crore folios. When I talk to people in the US, they can't believe that we are collecting money at that granularity, because just the cost of KYC, just the cost of transfer would mean that a $30 unit cannot be collected. The reason we can collect it is because we can prove identity, we can prove trust. As the NSE CEO likes to say, every single PIN code in India, other than maybe the port trusts, now has a retail bank account. Now that would not be possible without Aadhaar, without cheap KYC, without our ability to build trust. Now what is this $30 a month from 11 crore folios doing? It is generating 1% of GDP worth of risk capital. See, when you're growing, if you have to grow fast, you can either grow by adding more people, or you can grow by improving your productivity, or you can grow by adding more capital. You can't increase the number of people. I mean, that's fixed, that's demographics. Productivity growth beyond 1.5%, 2% a year, and we are already doing that, is very hard to do. So in order to grow faster, you need significant amounts of risk capital. How do you get that risk capital? Especially in an environment where global risk capital, global financial markets are much tighter than they used to be 20 years back. Our ability to generate risk capital for entrepreneurs, the fact that entrepreneurs are getting venture capitalists and private equity firms to invest in them, is because the venture capitalists and private equity firms are seeing the exit 5, 7, 10 years later in the public markets. And that public market money, again, is coming because we can collect those small tickets from 11 crore folios, and that's still growing. So as much as the building of trust is actually very important to gather risk capital. Financial inclusion is also absolutely critical to maintain the political consensus that economic growth is good. See, we are, as many have said, a precautious democracy. So we've become democratic way before we became rich. Most countries, and almost all countries, you take the US, you take UK, you take Japan, they got universal franchise after they became rich. Countries in the last 50 years who have become rich, like South Korea, Taiwan, Spain, they were dictatorships when they were going through our phase of growth. So building consensus, because at this stage of growth, it is natural to have a rise in inequality. The rise in inequality comes from the fact that labor is in surplus, capital is in shortage. Capital is much easier to disburse in larger chunks. So, and I'm sure many of you are grappling with this problem. There are millions of vendors in the country who do not want 1 crore of loans. They want 5 lakh rupees of loans. They want 1 lakh rupees of loans because that's all they need. Now, in most economies, when they went through this phase, the inequality went up because it's very hard to disburse capital at that small ticket size because you need to do it at scale. And the only way to do it at scale is to use technology. So this is what we used to enable digital payments to small vendors, whether you're a banana seller, a QR code. Earlier, you needed a POS device. To have a POS device, you needed a certain threshold of business before you could afford to have digital payments. Today, you don't need anything. You just need to do a cheap KYC and you're on. The ability to have a bank account. I mean, this is an example which I think for the youngsters, it is important to remember that branch banking is really expensive, and which is why, despite nationalization of banks, our financial inclusion in terms of the number of households that had bank accounts was abysmal, because even PSU banks couldn't afford to run bank branches in remote areas. It was only when digital banking came that everyone got a bank account. The records that UPI is setting would not have been possible without very cheap KYC, and here a pat on the back for the Aadhaar team, without Aadhaar. So the question for us is, how do we keep building on this? And sorry, to close that argument on political consensus, if we grow and the benefits of that growth are kept by the top 5-10%, we will stop growing, because we are a democracy. People will vote. People will give the signal that this is not acceptable. All the churn that you are seeing in the US, complete idiots running the government, the fact that even they are seeing a lot of churn. I mean, look at, the New York mayor is wanting to run Sahkari Bhandar. Something that we have seen in the last 30 years and we have moved away from, they want to go back to. All of these are signs that if you allow inequality to happen for too long, and you to go beyond, stretch beyond a point, political consensus will pull you down. So in order to do that, I think fintech and the whole ecosystem are extremely important, so that growth is sustainable through continuous innovation and also is equal. Because if you don't have equal growth, it is not sustainable. So what is Aadhaar doing now? So we have, as I said, we do 9 crore authentications a day. We have done peak of 13 crore. We do 1.5 crore face authentications on the peak days, and that number is rising very rapidly. We are now going to the next level. So we are building capacity that we can do 30 crore authentications a day. So there should not be any server level problems, bottlenecks. We have revamped the Aadhaar app, and my colleagues Tanushree and Vivek will run you through what the Aadhaar app can do and all the changes we are bringing about. We are taking technology and security to the next level. So we will be over time switching to post-quantum cryptography so that we become unhackable. We have Aadhaar Vision Committee going to take us to the next generation of technology. We have also expanded the Aadhaar Seva Kendra. So it's not just about the technology backbone, but also the engagement, the quality of engagement that Aadhaar number holders, as you as individuals have with Aadhaar, needs to improve. So we were unhappy with the kind of service coming out of state government-run Aadhaar Seva Kendra. So we have now launched our own Aadhaar Seva Kendra, and those are ramping up and spreading out in every district. We will see many more of them as the ramp-up happens. We are also changing things at the back end so that the pace at which we bring innovation to the fintech ecosystem becomes much faster. We are also, and I was telling Samir this while we were waiting for the session to start, Aadhaar is nothing but a database. So we are just one big database. We try to make it secure. It is very secure. It's high quality. It is trustworthy. And then we expose API. We are nothing if it is not used. So we are all about the ecosystem. We are a very integral part of the ecosystem, but we don't matter. Our value comes from the ecosystem. So we are engaging. We are increasing the engagement with the ecosystem. So in the last 2.5 years, we've started this process of Aadhaar Samvad, where we reach out, we tell people what we want to do, what we are doing, and we also hear from the ecosystem partners what are the things that we can do better. So that process has now become a lot more structured. So we now have 2 Aadhaar Samvads happening every year. We are also creating a sandbox environment, because we realize that innovation cannot be limited to what people in Aadhaar do. It cannot be just limited to what I can think up, or Tanushree can think up, or Vivek can think up. It has to be about, the innovation can come from any side. And so if there is an innovative fintech, we would like to partner with them. We'll create a sandbox environment where they can test out their solutions. We are even exploring the setting up of a fund so that if there are innovative solutions that are very Aadhaar focused and which can improve the quality of Aadhaar, the trustworthiness, the security of Aadhaar, we would like to fund such solutions. Because we are very cognizant of the fact that we are the largest biometric database in the world. There are things that we can do that no one else can. There are solutions that can be built using the database that we have that no one else can replicate. And therefore, that gives a huge opportunity for the people here, for the investors here, for the banks here to develop solutions. So I'd like to close on that count that we've come a long way, but the journey is just started. We are looking to innovate. The whole of Aadhaar is looking for ideas, looking to partner with you. So once again, I will like to thank the organizers for this opportunity to engage with you, and I'll close my remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our chief guest for being with us over here.